Welcome to EPG Pathashala. I am Ravi Korisettar, Senior Fellow, Dr. V.S. Wakankar, Archaeological Research Institute in Bhopal. In this particular presentation, we will be discussing on the late Harappan cultures. In the context of transformation of the Indus civilization, you have already been introduced to the issues of debate relating to the factors that were responsible for the decline or transformation of the Indus civilization. Following this understanding, we will have to now clearly understand what actually happened after the urban phase in the region of the greater Indus Valley and further east as well as southeastwards of this particular region. The objectives of this particular quadrant is to understand the characteristics of the late Harappan, or otherwise it is also known as post-urban phase of the Indus civilization. To understand each of the late Harappan, post-urban cultures, to understand the cemetery H, Jukar, Rangpur and Bara phases of the Indus civilization. Now, as clearly mentioned here, there are 3 or 4 regional cultures that emerged following the decline of the Harappan civilization. They are also known by the terms such as cemetery H culture. The evidence was first identified at Harappa, Jukar culture, Rangpur culture in Saurashtra, Bara phases in Rajasthan and so on. All these phases represents a Chalcolithic culture, indirectly referring to the life phase characterized by de-urbanized state of the society. Now, the time period covered by this particular late Harappan phase covers from 1900 BC to 1300 BCE. Again, we will go back to the maps which you have seen already in the context of earlier quadrants. Here, we have a clear idea of the density of sites and their spatial distribution across the Indus River and its tributaries in modern Pakistan, as well as the sites in Punjab province on the Indian side, as well as those other states further south of Punjab such as Haryana, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Here we can also see that the distribution and concentration of sites is only with reference to some of the major fertile alluvial tracts of the region. Now, these are the sites which represents the early stages of processes leading to the urban phase. Now, this map again gives you an idea of increase in the number of sites and also sites appearing in those areas which were not previously occupied by these people. This cluster of sites distributed over a vast area also represent the major urban phase or the Bronze Age, during which time the Indus civilization flourished not only in the greater Indus Valley, but also it had established wide network of trade between Mesopotamia, Oman and also to some extent the region outside the greater Indus Valley within the Indian subcontinent. During the course of our discussion on the transformation of the Indus civilization, we also discussed the eastward expansion of the settlements from the Indus Valley towards Punjab, Haryana and the Indo-Ganga divide. This particular expansion was emphasized by Gregory Portiel to explain the fact that it was not a decline of the urban phase, but it was transformation and de-urbanization which did not occur abruptly, that it was a gradual transformation. What we see here is during the late Harappan phase, the settlements become much smaller in size and the settlements which were previously occupied during the Harappan phase continued to be in use, but the nature of life phase reflected a de-urbanized state. In the sense, breakdown in the trade network as well as breakdown in the surplus that was being produced in various spheres of activity. Now, the large number of sites that we see distributed in the Indo-Ganga divide side and further eastwards along the Saraswati river, as well as the sites continuing in the coastal parts of Sindh and Saurashtra and as well as Kutch can be clearly seen in this map. The usefulness of the maps is to get a clear idea of the spatial distribution of the sites in relation to the natural factors that governed their presence in these areas. This map refers to major late Harappan sites which have been excavated over the last several decades, and the excavations have given us a clear idea of what happened to the Bronze Age civilization that flourished in a very vast area. And the factors that were responsible for deurbanization have been delineated from series of investigations that were carried out at the excavated sites like Harappa, Jukar, Dholavira, Rangpur, and so on and so forth. So these sites are very critical for understanding the development, cultural developments during the time period from the end of the urban phase to the beginning of regional cultures, which are also typically Chalcolithic cultures in other parts of Indian subcontinent. To have a recap of what we already know about the various stages of development and decline of the Indus civilization, I would like to remind you that we know very clearly that the urban phase flourished from 2600 BCE to 1900 BCE. The urban phase took its shape as a result of integration of regional cultures in Balochistan, Sindh, Cholistan, Gujarat, Punjab, and Rajasthan. This particular urban phase survived for nearly 700 years, and after about 700 years of its prosperity, what we see is processes that led to deurbanization and evolution of localization of cultures in that particular region. As already mentioned, the post-urban Harappan phase or the late Harappan phase is datable from 1900 BCE to 1300 BCE. Mark Canoyer, who is one of the leading specialists on Harappan civilization, mentions that the urban phase gradually faded to the background, and also the time period witnessed the emergence of cultures in the eastern and northern edges of the Indus Valley. Earlier understanding of the Indus civilization was that it emerged quickly and also declined equally rapidly. But what we now know is that it did not happen in that particular fashion, but it took 1,000 years for shift in cultural and political center from the Indus Valley to the Middle Ganga region in northern India. Again, a recap of what we have discussed on the transformation. Here we discussed various issues that were debatable and were being debated by several scientists who are working on the transformation or decline of the Harappan civilization. One of the important theories that was put across was by the well-known archaeologist Eric Mortimer Wheeler, who suggested that the decline of the Harappan civilization was as a result of Aryan invasion. There was another theory suggesting that it was not the Aryan invasion which destroyed the civilization, but natural causes such as the damming of the rivers on which the settlements were located. That a large number of sites were found located on the dry riverbed which has been identified as the Saraswati River was also taken into account to explain that the deurbanization or transformation of the Indus civilization occurred as a result of a drying up of this particular major river. Then climatic factors were also invoked to explain the transformation. Here the fluctuation in the intensity of rainfall, fluctuation in the intensity of discharge of water through these rivers were responsible for the transformation of the Indus civilization. And there are also archaeologists who also thought in addition to these factors which have been identified by several archaeologists, there were certain internal factors that were primarily responsible for the breakdown of the urbanization. They suggest that it was socio-economic factors such as inland and external trade, which was very well established during the 700 period of its existence, gradually broke down. So in the context of our discussion on transformation and the various theories, each theory was supported by documentation of a particular type of evidence. Some of the settlements which have a long history, such as Mehergarh and Perak in Balochistan, Dholavira in Kutch region, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa in the Indus Valley, have been excavated, and they have clearly revealed the settlement size, gradually changing over a period of time, and have also yielded additional material culture evidence which help us understand the processes that were responsible for the transformation of the Indus civilization. So the archaeological data recovered from some of these regional sites are very, very helpful in arriving at a proper understanding of this particular transformational process. Kenoyer has identified three prominent regions where there is adequate evidence in support of discussion for understanding the transformation as well as emergence of regional cultures during the time period from 1900 BCE to 1300 BCE. Kenoyer has identified, as I mentioned, three prominent regions, which include the Punjab phase that refers to the northern regional culture that includes the large site of Harappa and sites further to the east in the northern India. In the southern Indus Valley, the Jukar phase is named after a site near Mohenjo-daro and incorporates all sites in Sindh as well as parts of Balochistan. The Rangpur phase refers to the entire region of Kutch, Saurashtra and mainland Gujarat. Now let us take each of these regions one by one so that we have a clear idea of what has been documented during the post-urban phase at some of these sites. In the context of Punjab phase, the main focus of study is the urban site of Harappa. In the northern group, the post-urban phase is identified as Cemetery H or Punjab phase. It was first discovered in a large cemetery named as H, located to the south of mounts E and D, filled with burial urns in stratum 1 and some extended inhumations in stratum 2. Re-emergence of heavily decorated burial pottery in contrast to the plain and undecorated burial pottery of Harappan phase. New painted motifs include ritual symbols that combine animal, plant and human themes which are different from the earlier Harappan phase. The representations include normal, humped bull, gazelle, black buck, flying peacock and unique combination figures include double serpents with a horned headdress that has two people leaf sprouting from the center. So the major characteristics observed by the excavators at Cemetery H is a burial complex, and in the excavations they clearly found two strata. The stratum 1 giving clear evidence of large urns containing the interment, and in stratum 2 the continuation of extended burials in pits was documented. But interesting fact about these burials is not only the use of urns for burying the dead, but the type of pottery that was used was different from the urban phase. Here the pottery also had paintings on this outer surface, and these paintings included variety of motifs that I just briefly mentioned. This slide gives us an idea of the extent of the region where Cemetery H culture was identified, and also through excavation what was revealed. We have clear examples of urns which were meant for burying the dead, as well as the continuation of burying the dead in pits in an extended form. And in addition to that, the pottery that was typical of this particular period can also be seen. Another set of slides which show the way in which extended burial practice was continued. But what is interesting to see here is the variety of burial goods in the form of pots accompanying the dead. So as I earlier mentioned, we have variety of pottery which were different from the burial pottery that we have commonly come across during the urban phase. Here, as we have already noted, that these burial pottery were well made, including the decoration that was carried out on the outer surface of the pots. So few more examples of decorated painted pottery that we have documented from burials in stratum 1 and as well as stratum 2 at Cemetery H near Harappa. The pottery designs include the representations such as humped bulls with 3 piper leaves sprouting from the middle of the forehead and flying peacocks with antelope horns or a 5-pronged tail made of peepal leaves. An interesting depiction of combines of a bull body, antelope horns, and a human head and torso with hands resting on the hips and arms covered with bangles. Harappa was re-excavated from 1986 to 2001, which revealed new facts of Cemetery H culture. This slide is a clear illustration of a type of pottery associated with Cemetery H culture. So recent excavations which were carried out by George F. Dales and Mark Canayer, as we briefly mentioned, were carried out during the last 15 years or so, and that has given rise to a better understanding of the development of late Harappan phase in Punjab. The evidence documented by recent excavations include evidence indicates transition from Harappan to Punjab phase as a gradual and slow development. Earlier burials in stratum 2 extended inhumations very much similar to Harappan ones, with pottery arranged at the head and feet. This tries to explain the way in which burial goods were placed in the pit where the interment was made. Painted jars with high flaring rims, large jars with ledge rims and heavy dish-on stands similar to Harappan types were also found in the stratum 2 in Cemetery H phase or Punjab phase. Decorative plates or lids and votive offerings in small pottery vessels are also additional evidence that have been recovered through excavations in the Cemetery H area. The practice of burying the dead in urns was prevailing during the post-urban phase in the Punjab phase, particularly the burials that were excavated from stratum 1 clearly indicate definite practice of urn burial system prevailing amongst them. Both dead children and adults were placed in large urns, and these urns were placed in pits and then buried. Recent excavations have further revealed the presence of Cemetery H and related pottery in the entire northern Pakistan, and there was a mixed variety of pottery traditions indicating the presence of local varieties. Canayer also observed that even though a large area is encompassed by Cemetery H culture, the trade connections with Western Highlands and coastal areas began to break down. This was an important observation made by Mark Canayer, that the economic factor such as the trade that prevailed during the Harappan phase was gradually breaking down, even though this Punjab phase of post-Harappan civilization was widespread in the northern region. Like variety of beads made from lapis lazuli, marine shells were very abundant during the Harappan phase. What we see here is that there was a gradual decline in the production of beads from some of these materials, which were also procured from long distances. And in the absence of abundant supply of precious and semi-precious stones, the emphasis was now being given to using faience for making beads in order to compensate the lack of semi-precious and precious stones. The beads that were collected from a large pot in cemetery H area revealed that faience beads reflect a change in style, new colors and shape, some delicately carved and glazed. A deep azure bead may be representation of lapis lazuli. Smaller beads drilled with tubular copper drill with an abrasive was also evident. In the Harappa phase, such beads drilled by Ernesite drills, now Ernesite completely disappears and copper tubular drills come into use. This slide gives you an example of that particular pot which contained large number of beads and the variety of beads that were found in this particular pot. This is a composition slide which gives you an idea of the copper drill that was used by the lapidaries, and then the variety of steatite beads, as well as the late Harappan ceramics that have been found as, and in addition to that, new type of raw material, agate beads were also found in this particular context. Kaolinite and faience beads from some of the pots which were recovered through excavation, and another slide gives you an idea of the structures that were built during the late Harappan phase in the Punjab region. To the east of Punjab region, we have a distinctive ceramic tradition which has been known as Bara, appears along the late Harappan ceramic types. Bara is located on the left bank of a seasonal river known as Bukdi Nala, and the late Y.D. Sharma noticed the remains spreading over an area of 150 meter squares. The excavation at this site by Sharma brought to light 4 meters of habitational deposit of a single culture delineated by lower, middle and upper levels. So in addition to excavation at cemetery H culture, both during the time when Wheeler was working and recently by Dales and Kanayar, further east of Harappa in Punjab, a regional variety of pottery was noticed at a site called Bara, and this particular pottery is also named after the site Bara, and the Bara ware is also a regional pottery type associated with a post-Harappan settlement which was excavated by the late Y.D. Sharma, who found 3 distinctive phases in the post-Harappan settlement at Bara. Y.D. Sharma describes the Bara pottery as distinctive from Harappan pottery. It was made of well-levigated fine to medium grained clay. It is all wheel turned with a self-slip or applied slip, a dull brown in color. Designs are painted in dull chocolate or black and are incised with wood points or brushes. Pairing is present, but the more characteristic is a technique of drawing designs with a blunt point on a smooth surface. These designs acquire a sheen or burnished appearance when fired. Bara ware is also characterized by incisions on the shoulder and rustications on the base in a wet wear technique with a quote, honeycombed ridges, brushed spirals or finger patchwork. The examples are also shown in this particular slide. Also in Punjab, couple of more sites relating to the late Harappan phase have also been excavated. One of the sites, Roopnagar or Ropar, is also as important as Harappa. The excavation at sites like Roopnagar near Chandigarh clearly indicate Bara pottery appearing towards the end of the Harappan phase, intermixing along with it and found dominating in late levels. The gradual shifting towards the east brought closer the Harappans with ochre-colored pottery ware culture or copper hoard culture of the Ganga Yamuna Doab. Evidence comes in the form of continuity in late Harappan ceramic styles in OCP sites. Evidence from Sanauli, a late Harappan cemetery site in western Uttar Pradesh, shows contact with copper hoard culture. Antenna sword found in association with a burial at Sanauli is one of the best examples from copper hoard sites. Now, in the Ganga Yamuna Doab, during this time period, a distinctive pottery was identified from excavations at several sites. One such site was Sanauli, where ochre colored pottery and copper artifacts were found together. Now, at this particular site, one can easily demonstrate the eastward expansion of late Harappan culture towards the Ganga Yamuna Doab, and also revealing some kind of contact between the late Harappans and the OCP culture people in the Ganga Yamuna Doab region. This slide gives us a clear idea of the materials found at Sanauli. A burial was also excavated, and the burial appeared to be a symbolic burial, which means that the human remains were not interred into this particular burial, but replenished with elaborate burial goods. Also found is an antenna, sword and sheath of copper. The antenna sword is a typical copper hoard implement found in association with the burials. Now let us discuss about another regional late Harappan culture phase found at sites towards west of the Indus Valley in the Balochistan region. The site of Jukar is very important in the context of understanding the developments in the region west of the Indus Valley. Jukar phase begins towards the last phase of Indus Valley civilization and ends with the Perak phase around to 1800 to 800 BCE. Evidence comes from two type sites, Jukar in Sindh and Perak in Balochistan. Evidence of Jukar phase occupation at Chanudaro, Mohenjo-daro and Amri is also documented. Strong continuity from the preceding Harappan phase, as indicated by technological features of pottery and other objects, is clearly visible. Jukar phase pottery is extensively decorated, as shown in this particular slide. The seals excavated from Jukar are presented in this particular slide. What we have to notice is the shape of the seals were frequently round shapes with geometrical designs, and what is important to notice is absence of a script or writing on the seals. In addition to that, seals are also similar to those which have been found in Perak. So the difference between Harappan phase pottery and Jukar pottery is very distinct in the form of absence of a script and depiction of animals that were very frequently seen on Harappan phase pottery, and as well as increased use of circular seals with geometric designs. Evidence from Perak indicates strong connections with the sites in Kutch, Kachi Plains, that is the region where the river Bolan flows through, and Western Highlands, that is including Suleiman, Kirtar and Balochistan mountains. Reappearance of polychrome designed ceramics, new ceramics in the form of globular water vessels, handled cups, heavier cooking pots, and figurines of animals, seals made of terracotta and bronze different from Indus style, compartmented square and circular seals with geometric designs. These are some of the distinguishing regional features found in the region westwards of the Indus River. These Perak phase structures and the type of pottery and seals and terracotta are shown in this particular slide. Now we turn towards Gujarat Saurashtra region, which is also one of the major provinces where extensive documentation of sites as well as a number of excavations have been carried out. While major developments were affecting the urban processes in the Indus and Indus plains and further northwards in southwards in Sindh, the Gujarat Harappan sites give us an entirely different picture of the developments. A great deal of continuity in the settlements is remarkable in this region. Scholars agree that silting of Run of Kutch induced change in the shipping routes and breakage in the connectivity to core regions in Sindh. Prominent sites are Dholavira, in Kutch, Surkottada, Rangpur and Jaidak. Now at all these sites, Indus style pottery dramatically disappears, local style pottery appears, and the most representative pottery of this period is known as lustrous redware, which was noticed at Rangpur for the first time, and later on it was found widespread in Saurashtra and Kutch. Black and white ware with white designs of Jukar style pottery are also found in Gujarat sites. At Dholavira, one observes a reduction in the settlement area marked by stages 6 and 7, houses of stone blocks of stage 6 and circular house of stage 7. Rectangular seals with script only, continuation of bead industry along with ernesite drills, faience and shell manufacture is documented from here. Continuation of ernesite drill at Dholavira, disappearance from other major cities including Harappa indicates its local provenance. These are some of the pictures showing the characteristic features of the structures excavated at Dholavira. As mentioned previously, this particular slide gives you an idea of the type of pottery like Jukar ware, reverse slipped ware and black and red ware that were found in excavations or being shown in this particular slide. Unlike the sleeves found at Perak, which are largely circular in the Jukar face, in Kutch and Saurashtra, the continuation of script as well as rectangular seals is a distinguishing feature. In addition to those varieties of pots, ceramics that we were mentioning, we have these varieties of pottery and the type of designs that were painted as decoration can also be seen in this particular slide. In summary, what we have to understand here is that the post-Harappan or late Harappan culture or cultures or regional cultures, or in general, they were a continuity of the Harappan period. But what is noticeable is decline in the trade network that existed between the Indus Valley and Mesopotamia. This was perhaps a major cause for localization of these cultures. Now, that it was a continuity from Harappan to late Harappan is reflected in the body of evidence represented by ceramic types. At many of these sites, in Cemetery H area, in Punjab sites, in Saurashtra, Gujarat sites, as well as in Balochistan sites, there is a continuity of the major Harappan pottery, but the changes are reflected in the type of seals that were produced. In some regions, we see only circular seals. In some regions, we see continuation of rectangular and square seals. In some regions, we see the absence of script, and in some regions, we see the continuity of the script and so on. This kind of regional differences have been noticed, and the most prominent change that we see is the decrease in the settlement size, but also in increase in the number of settlements in the eastern sectors of the greater Indus Valley. Thank you.